The Resident Evil trailer looks like a really good survival horror movie that is dressed up in Resident Evil aesthetics and IP, directed by one of the most interesting and imaginative new horror voices in this space, and honestly, I think that's great for this industry, and I thought this trailer fucking ruled. As a fan of the Resident Evil games, a one-to-one adaptation would be a slow, suspense-driven, almost anti-maximalist experience, which sounds awesome in its own right, and I want to see that movie, but in 2026, that probably only gets greenlit as a TV series. While I'm personally excited to see what Kreger does with the Resident Evil IP, and the T-Virus and this new character played by Austin Abrams, what I'm really excited for is what he did in Barbarian and Weapons, which is playing with tone. If you know Kreger's work well, you know he's a major fan of Jordan Peele, so he blends horror and dark comedy really well and constantly twists genre expectations. It's not like he's ignoring the games. You see the Resident Evil DNA all over this trailer, from searching drawers to med kits to running down alleyways, jumping into sewers, landline phones. It feels like Resident Evil, just a little bit more unique. And thematically, I'm really curious to see what direction Kreger goes. You know, we've had Zach on our show before with Barbarian. We talked about his future projects or what he wanted to work on. He sent us the Weapons screenplay long before the movie came out, so we're very aware of his thematic project. Kreger's movies are always about survival, about confronting something that's buried deep in your inner basement instead of running from it. And I think that concept fits perfectly with the Resident Evil IP. And cinematically, this movie's shot by Darius Wolski, who's Ridley Scott's DP from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And say what you want about those movies, I love them, but objectively, the horror elements of those films are fucked up in the best way possible. And combining that cinematography from Wolski and the writing and direction from Kreger and the Timothée Chalamet of horror and Austin Abrams as the lead of this movie, who's great at playing slightly awkward but comedic and also kind of charismatic everyman characters, this just feels like a really smart combination of artists to make something very unique in a space with Resident Evil that hasn't had a good movie adaptation, maybe ever. Honestly, if you're still angry that this movie's co-opting Resident Evil IP to make something new, I think direct your anger at the studio system, because ultimately this is what it takes to get an $80 million horror movie made nowadays. You have to make something that is IP driven. Movies like this are actually the best thing for this dystopian landscape of IP derivative filmmaking.